to worry. I've got no room for doubt. No matter what's coming at me, you'll always be the beautiful I sing about. There ain't no limitations to your amazing grace. Your amazing grace. And there's something about the way your love shines on my face. Oh no, I can never get enough of you. This feeling can't be wrong. I'm about to get my worship on. I'm gonna sing a brand new song. Yeah, I'm about to get my worship on. Take me away on this beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day.
Well, hello and thank you for joining me. It's a great day to be alive. Why don't you just throw your hands up and say, to God be the glory for the things that he has done and what he's about to do in your life. There's nobody greater. There's nobody like him. And I don't know about you, but I'm excited because I can hear the sound of abundance of rain that God is about to rain down on us in this place. Not because we've been so worthy, but because he loves us. Somebody need to type in the comments if you're watching on social media, and if you're watching me at home, just say favor. The favor of God surrounds me like a shield. My guest on today, Program Manager Barbara Culberson, is here from the Discovery Center to just share some wisdom in the world that we live in about children. They're a gift from God. Barbara, I got to touch you. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back, Tammie.
Yes,
Great to be
ma'am.
here, as always.
Always a pleasure. Always
Yes,
a pleasure.
yes.
You know what I love so much about you? When anytime I'm in your presence, it's like I'm gleaning and I'm learning. And that's the way we should be, growing and glowing together in God.
Yes.
But
yes.
you have a heart and passion for young people.
I really do, Tammie. And it just started, I don't know when it started, because as I was growing up, I never really wanted to have children.
Really?
No, I didn't. That's a secret, isn't it?
No, you know what's crazy? I was the same way. I guess that's why we kind of clicked.
Right.
But God.
But
I didn't want
God.
any children. I didn't want a husband. I just wanted to be my own boss. But God.
Right.
Wow.
And somewhere along the way, I'm just like the mama for all these children, the auntie for all these kids, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's really been a blessing just to be able to share with them and kind of advocate for kids.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, really is a joy.
And what's so crazy about it, you didn't want children, but he has you right there in the hub as the mother hen in ministry, your church, your community. And then you're able to go out into the community and impact not only the children, but where it starts in the home with the families.
In the home.
In the home.
In the home. And I think one of the things that I like to share when I'm doing classes is it's not too early. You know, so many times we have parents and they wait till they're teenagers. You really have waited
too long. Yes. Yes.
Because when children come out, you know, they come out and the only thing they know to do is what? Cry.
That's it.
So everything from cry to what you're producing to society is learned behavior.
Learned behavior.
And so we have to make sure that as parents, we are controlling the environment of our children so that they are learning some productive things, positive things, so that, you know, when people say they're just being disrespectful, well, they learned that somewhere.
They saw it.
Yeah.
And now they're imitating.
They're imitating.
Right.
They're great observers. And so they glean more from what we do in front of them than what we actually say. So that is very, very important, that we are living properly before them and exposing them to positive environments in the community.
How many times have you heard, do what I say
Yes.
and not what I do? Are they really listening?
They're going to do what you do.
Absolutely.
They're going to do it.
I
Yes.
mean, and many times they do it well.
Well.
I can say that honestly, you know, children are a reflection of who they are around,
That's correct.
whether good or bad. You have those mannerable children, you have those respectful children, and then you have those, what I call my special babies. They're not bad. They're not devious. They're just special. They just need a little correction and a lot of love. Do you believe that children, when they're acting out, that they're crying out for love and attention?
They're crying out for so many things. Because we're human beings, we have basically 5 needs that we're always trying to get met. And as we get older, I think it started off being just about 4, but as we get older into our teenage years, there's a 5th one added.
Yeah.
So because we're human beings, we need to have those things met. And so what happens is when those needs are not being met, then we're going to have inappropriate behavior.
Absolutely.
And so, one of the classes that I do teach is to, how do you correct misbehavior? And how you're feeling in the moment when that child is acting up is a great indication of what that need is that's been blocked, that needs to be
Give
met.
us a great example, because I'm sure you've seen this countless times before.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm sure the audience had too. You're at Walmart or
Yes.
the grocery store, and the child is just kicking, screaming out on the floor. I want this toy. I want this toy. I want this toy. They don't really want that toy, Tam.
No, they
They
don't.
really don't want that toy. What they really want is there's the need to belong that's been blocked.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, parents have to deal with the reality or the perception from the child's point of view that I don't feel like I belong in this family.
Wow.
Because we kind of come here knowing that we belong to something part of something bigger than myself.
Yes.
And so the first thing we know we belong to is our family.
Family.
And when we don't get that need met, then we're going to be irritating our parents. We're going to be, throwing food and all this kind of stuff. When you're feeling irritated or frustrated,
Yes.
then that's an indication that you need to come up with some positive ways for your child to feel like they belong.
Now you just open the door.
Yes.
Now, if the child doesn't feel like they belong in the family, the behavior begins even at a young age. The terrible too. We know that. And there's a manipulation, mechanism there. I'm going to do what I need to do to get you to do what I want you to do. But how can we fill that void that's not being met in the family, even at that young age?
Start doing some things with the family on purpose. Set aside, let me just make this up. Every Thursday is family night.
Yes.
You determine that in your family. And if every Thursday is family night, then let each person in the family take turns deciding what we do. So nobody gets to say, okay, I'm not going to participate because it's not my night to pick.
Right.
No matter what it is, if somebody wants you to watch Bugs Bunny, then you, as a family, we sit and watch Bugs Bunny.
No one's pouting.
Everyone's
pouting. Engaged and happy.
Engaged, whatever that is. And so then you're doing things creatively as a family. The parent is responsible for navigating that. And then that way everyone feels like they're part. You just got to come up with some creative ideas.
Absolutely.
That's just one. There are others.
And then being able to give their opinion on what snacks or what we're going to have for dinner that night, during movie night or during that time that they're actually fellowshipping.
Right.
Why do you think it's so hard sometimes for mothers specifically to, when they have 2 and 3 children, they're different personalities, of course.
Yes.
Why is it so hard for them to balance that with the differences in the family?
And multiple reasons, but just to name maybe 1 or 2. Sometimes you try to navigate time. We're a fast-paced society, and so I don't really have a lot of time to give you to be able to figure this out. But as a parent, you must make time.
Yes.
You must make time. And so if it's going to be something that we call them teachable moments.
Yes, Lord.
You might have a teachable moment. You need to make time for that, because they don't come by often.
Absolutely.
Teachable moments are in that moment while that child is thinking about that thing. That's when you need to address that thing.
Even as simple as, covering your mouth when you cough. You have to be able and willing to do that.
Yes.
Nowadays, they say, however it works, make sure that they are learning in that moment.
Yes.
And many times we have to make sure that we're not too busy for our children.
Correct.
How do I make time?
On purpose.
I knew you were going to say that.
You do that on purpose. Tammie, we're here today. We didn't say, okay, well, maybe I'm going to come here today.
No, we planned.
We planned. So you have to do things on purpose with your children.
Right.
There's no rule against planning a specific time for your child. There's no rule against saying, okay, on Saturday morning, I'm going to do this with my child.
Right.
There's no rule against that. So you can put them in your planner, just like you put everybody else that's important. And they should be the most important.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because if they don't feel love in the home, they're going to seek it elsewhere. And that's what I think we are in this season of life. The outside forces are consuming our babies, especially our young Black males.
Yes.
They don't feel loved, I guess, appreciated, or as you said before, they don't feel connected.
We have many times parents that don't even know that their child has got involved in a gang.
Yeah.
That should not be.
Mm-hmm.
The gang should not be giving them more love and attention than you. The neighbor down the street, it's good if you have other people that are concerned about the welfare of your child, but they should feel that greatest and most right in the home.
At home.
Because otherwise they will seek it out in other
Mm-hmm.
places.
Mm-hmm.
They will seek it out in other places.
And that's so true. I guess that's where a mother loves come in.
Yes.
I don't care what the child does, mama gonna love you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes almost to a fault because
Yes.
she never gives up on her child.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be willing sometimes to make those sacrifices
Yes.
as a mother. I can honestly say that.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back over my career, there were some opportunities that I said no to because I
Yes.
wanted to purposely be in my daughter's life.
Yes.
I did not want to be successful. And then she'll look back when she's 20, 21 and say, oh yeah, well, you know, my mom is successful. She's doing all these great things, but she wasn't there for me.
Yes.
I would never give her that advantage to be able to say, So I made those sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that oftentimes as parents, we have to put our needs on the back burner for a moment
Yes.
in order to make sure that our babies are
Mhm.
equipped and ready for the real world.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do you agree with that statement?
I agree with that because, again, they are our gift, our contribution to society.
Mhm.
We're leaving a legacy.
Right.
Tammie, you and I are older now, but at one point we were 3 years old.
Absolutely.
We were 4 years old.
Mhm.
Our parents, grandparents, the people in our communities imparted into us,
Mhm.
and we are who we are today to a great part because of what they released into our lives.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we have to do that with our children.
Mhm.
Yeah, what we're giving to the next generation is what we're doing right now.
And even in a fast society,
Yes.
stop,
Mhm.
pause, make time for your children.
Yes.
It's not so much of buying them
Mhm.
because I believe they enjoy your presence more
Yes.
than your presence, the gifts.
Mhm.
Just being there in the moment with them. Congratulate, high five, awesome, you did great. They look forward to that.
Yes.
So how important is it for us, for the affirmations to
Mm.
build our children's self-confidence and be there in the moment with them?
Very important because I did a survey. It was a smaller group, just to check my theories, and
I know how that is. Yes.
just to check them out because a lot of people have done a lot of research, and I said, well, I'm going to try and make sure, and I gave them this little sample questionnaire that was in part of this research. And I thought for sure that they were going to come back and say, I had my speech already ready, that they were going to come back and say, well, they wanted all these gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we hear. I need some tennis shoes. I want this and all these expensive
So you
things.
actually did a survey on children,
Yes,
young
I
people,
did.
youth.
Yes, I did.
What were the ages?
They were, it was a range from probably about 6 to about 16.
Awesome group.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, and they came back and said their number one thing was words of affirmation.
Wow.
They wanted somebody to tell them that they were good.
Yeah.
That they look good, that they're, there's something special about them.
I
that
love
they're
you.
unique. I love you. That nobody else can be you. They needed, you look good in that outfit,
Yeah.
affirmation. And the number 2 was quality time.
My goodness.
They wanted to, and I was like, I can't even give my speech.
Well, look at you. It knocked you off your feet.
Yeah,
You were in awe.
I was ready to tell them, life does not consist of all these things because they get old.
Right.
They get old. But those are things that, they never get old.
Quality time.
Quality time.
Mhm.
It is during quality time that you're able to get influence in on your children.
And it's amazing how just listening to quality time, the influence. I remember playing Uno. And while we were playing Uno, we were learning our numbers and our colors.
Right.
You can utilize so many resources for teachable moments.
Teachable moments.
Wow.
Yeah, quality time is something because, and they were close. I mean, they were almost tied. It wasn't like one was.
There was no gap.
No real gap. So either one could be 1 or 2. They were then like a point of each other. But the quality time was very, very important because, one thing we have to remember as parents, we're not with our children 24 hours a day. So in other words, we got to get some influence in.
Right.
Otherwise, if you're going to try to control your children is in like be a dictator, then you would need to be with them 24 hours a day.
I'm happy that you said that because I want to talk about those 3 different types of parenting styles. And for those that are watching me, I want you to figure out, because I know my parenting style.
Yes.
I want you to understand your parenting style and how it affects your child. So
Yes.
you may want to take some notes on this one, and you're going to laugh at yourself because many of us are dictators. And our children pull away because that's not what they want. So just share with us those 3 different types of parenting styles.
So you have the dictator. We'll start with that. Dictators, they are controlling because I said so. You know,
my way
or the highway.
That's it.
I brought you I brought you in this world. I take you out.
That's the dictator.
The dictator.
And the children are scared.
Yeah, yes. But that is not how you rear your children. Because, you know, if you're going to make them afraid of you, you're making them afraid of the authority person in their life. You don't want them walking around always fearful.
Yeah.
Because fear is not going to produce a positive result.
Absolutely.
So you want them to be respectful. But respect and fear is not the same. And so then you want, so that dictator is very counterproductive to producing someone that's going to be productive in life.
Would you say the dictator style is more so generational? They actually just reproduce what has been done to them.
It's generational. These are the people that the only thing they think is possible if a child is messing up is beat them.
Yeah.
That's their answer to everything. And I always like to say, if all we had to do was beat our kids and they would be good, then we could just line them up and give them a good beat down.
Right.
But we know that's not the solution because, you know, so we need to try other things.
And it may not be a physical beating. We can beat them with our tongue, the words that come out. You'll never be anything. You just like your daddy. You make me sick. And those things resonate. I know this from teaching. I remember doing this, Barbara. I had poster boards and I said, I want you to write out everything that has affected your life, the things that you've heard, not outside, in your home.
Right.
And when I began to read, I had my director and the principal come in to read. I said, do you understand now why they behave the way they, because it started in the home.
In the home.
The name calling.
Right.
So that's the dictator. What's the second one?
So then we have the opposite of the dictator would be the doormat. You know, and we have those parents.
Yeah.
That's whatever the child wants to do, let them do it.
My friend, we're sisters. Okay, let's hang out.
Let them stay up to whatever time, you know, whatever they want to do. They're really telling the parent,
My God.
And so, the doormat style is very, very counterproductive because the child is still a child. The brain is still developing. And because the brain develops from the back to the front, the last thing that develops is judgment in your prefrontal cortex. So since that's the last thing that develops, they're going to be making bad decisions.
All the time.
I mean, so if you're
not developed.
There's a reason why we don't put a gun in the hand of a 2-year-old. They'll shoot themselves and you too, and nobody else, and they don't even know what they've done.
Right.
There's a reason for those things. So as a parent, we are supposed to parent.
Yeah.
And then the
doormat, I have to ask this.
Okay.
We allow them that freedom because they feel as if I just want them to be able to communicate with me. How many times have you heard that?
Oh, they want to be their child's friend.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I've been around youth. I've asked them this question too, just to see what they're thinking. They want they want their parents to be parents.
Yeah.
They say they have friends. Now that's what they say.
The accountability.
Yeah. They, you know, we may act like this, but we really want our parents to be our parents. That, you know, fulfill that role.
Absolutely.
It's a very important role. And so, with their friends, you know, there are some people we were growing up, Tammie, we couldn't hang out with.
No.
And so they even helped guided that, you know, and so now
because we had a curfew,
right?
With the doormat, there is no curfew.
There's no curfew.
No boundaries on television.
No
you know,
boundaries.
we'll put parental restrictions. They can watch HBO and everything else that they desire to watch. But back in the day, that was
we weren't, you know, they understood that the child did not need to be exposed to all those different things early.
Yeah.
You know, there was going to be a time we cannot shelter our children from the world per se, but we can do it in such a way that they will be productive when they are successful, when they encounter some of these things that we see going on in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
we have to prepare them for society. You know, for the type of society that they're going to grow up in, not the one that we grew up in, because that one's gone.
It's changed tremendously.
Yeah, we don't have that one anymore.
No. And I think if we had the old school way, a lot of what we're going through right now would not be.
It would not
I
be.
remember my mother and grandmother, they didn't have to speak. They would just look at me. That look meant you better get in line because you already know. Nowadays, you look at them. What you looking at me for? Now, see, that's a form of disrespect because there were some boundaries that were cut in the home early on. And that, you know, comes of the parenting style.
And Tammie, we could feel that look.
Oh my God, yes.
You could have your back and all of a sudden you could feel something in your back.
Wait a minute.
You could feel
yes, ma'am. Did you hear me? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't, I do it when I get ready. It wasn't an option.
No, it wasn't an option.
And a few of us can look back and say, we did move, something was being thrown at us. I know what I'm talking about. You know,
right,
it helped.
It helped.
You know, the Bible says you spoil the child, you do what? You spare the rod, spoil the child.
Right. And so it
helped me.
We look at some of those things that we learned and we were taught were very helpful.
Yeah.
You know, going forward. And so because we've had this breakdown, we've had this breakdown where we've had really children having children, not knowing how to parent themselves. And so we have this whole dynamic going on and they are really not, so we have another generation on the scene that don't know how to parent.
Wow.
And that
was a breakdown.
Yeah, it's a breakdown.
That was a breakdown somewhere.
Right.
But one thing about it, prayer will fix it every time. God will give you the wisdom to do what you have no ability to do.
Right.
That's the amazing part of it. You know, so we have the doormat. We have the authoritative.
And we have the active parent.
Yes.
You know, somewhere in between those two extremes is the active parent. And this is what we try to encourage and teach people to be actively involved in your child's life. You know, and do so with expanding limits.
Yeah.
So, you know, when your child starts off to school, I got a few things right, Tam. I messed up some stuff, but I got a few things right. This is one of the things I got right. Every year when my son, we would start to school, he would start to school, he got an additional 30 minutes to his curfew.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't have to tell him. He would announce to me, I get 30 more minutes. And we had an agreement. As long as he didn't have any problems the next morning getting up, he could keep those 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And to him, I didn't realize it, but it was an acknowledgement that he was getting older. And he always got up. I mean, I never had to take back 30 minutes because he didn't want that. And so they're getting older and we can expand the limits. You know, it shouldn't be that your child is 10 years old and still on Pampers, you know.
Absolutely.
So you gotta be teaching and training all along the way as an active parent so that they get to the place where you're helping them with their decisions and their judgments. You know, you don't make every decision for them. You start allowing them, what color would you like to wear today?
Absolutely.
If it doesn't matter to you what color they wear today, let them pick the color.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't matter if they wear this outfit or that, let them pick that. Let them start as they get older, be able to do some things for themselves. That way you're helping to shape their judgment.
And decision making.
And yes, and that's an active parent. Because one day they're going to have to make a decision and you're not going to be there.
Yes, ma'am.
So since you're not going to be there, what's going to happen then?
Yeah.
And so that's when you have to have those teachable moments. They kick in and you take time to influence and shape that decision. What do you value as a parent? Does your children value those same things? Do you even know what they value?
Wow.
You know, you can't wait. I think that one of the mistakes that parents make, that I see making over the years, I made it to their teenagers. And now you're trying to correct a teenager. If they start running, I'm just using, for example, like at my church, I don't let kids run through the church. If they run through the church, that is stop them.
Right.
They might be cute. They might have on a little cute outfit today. But no, man, we don't run through the church.
Absolutely
No, sir, we
not.
don't run through the church. So
I
you
respect.
train them now when they are 13 and they're no longer 3. You don't have to do that because they're not going to do it. They're not. It's not about the running. It's about the respect.
Absolutely.
Being respectful. So every time you get an opportunity to impart a reason for them to show respect, you want to do that because they'll get older.
And when you correct them, it's important to correct them in love.
In love.
And not all the yelling and screaming, because I've learned when you yell and scream, and even with my daughter, I'm like, Trinity, I'm not yelling, but I have a mommy's voice. This is a TV voice. There's a preacher voice. You know, there's a speaker voice. Then there's a mother voice.
Yes.
And my mother voice would literally shake her. She was like, you're yelling. I was like, I'm not yelling at you. That doesn't mean I mean business. So, but I had to learn to tone it down because of her personality. That's a different story. You know, being green, that's a different story. I had to learn to tone my voice down so that she would feel the love more so than the fear.
Yes.
And it took her to share that with me. And I kept saying, I'm not yelling at her. Now, my grandmother and my mama yelled at me, but I think I'm doing 100. But again, it's the tone and showing the love.
And we have to deal with perception. How is my child perceiving me? Now, what they are perceiving may be absolutely incorrect.
Absolutely.
But you still got to deal with it because that's where they are. We have to meet them where they're at, not where we think they're at. And that does not happen enough. You know, I think this is, you know I taught them this. Well, as kids, you have to teach and reteach. You can't just teach them one time and you're done. You know, you might have taught them that. You're going to have to keep doing it. You know, when a baby's, you're teaching a baby to walk, they're going to keep falling until they finally get it. So you keep teaching them. You don't just, they failed the first time, I'm not going to teach them anymore. No, you have to continue to teach. And so as they get older, there are just more things that they're learning, more things that they're exploring. And we have to just continue to teach and reteach. And that's something that, you know, you have to have patience as a parent. And it would be just awesome if parents could understand how much power they actually have early on and how much they lose over time when they don't use it early.
Wow. That's powerful, Barbara. That's powerful. If you all are watching us right now, you're trying to figure out who's this woman of wisdom, you can find her right there in Starkville, Mississippi. She's a part of the Discovery Center, affiliated with the Star of October Hall Consolidated School District. And one of the things that I love so very much, there are implements, there are resources, and there are programs that they have put in place to make sure that families are strengthening families because we're better together. Share with them some of the resources that are available and how they can connect with you.
Yes, Tammie, we, first I'll just give you, the website is starsfullsd.com/Discovery Center. And you'll be able to see a lot of the different programs that we have at the Discovery Center. One of the things that we offer is kind of like a support group, which Tammie, you were very instrumental, started the very first one, Parent Cafe, in the state of Mississippi.
To God be the glory.
Yes, in the state of Mississippi. And I think we're like the 12th.
15 states to be able to do it.
And so, so we're not last on the list in that area of education. And so we have those, we have some adults, education classes that are offered there through the center. We have Reading to Succeed, some, different materials for reading. We offer also there so many things. We have a resource center there where you're able to come in if you need some assistance with your children doing projects and things of that nature. We offer all types of classes, financial literacy classes, of course, parenting classes. It just about, if it's something that's going to help families, we offer it at the Discovery Center.
And it's totally free.
Free.
That's the best part about it. You pay absolutely nothing. It's totally free. You just have to be willing and able and just take that leap of faith to say, I want more for my life. And the table is already prepared for you. Wow. What has been that one thing that has changed your life in working and serving the community?
we get to many times see the end result of what we're doing when we're working with families. Not every occupation has that, and I think being able to see, we have what we call those aha moments.
Yes.
And when a parent, a family, or someone has an aha moment, like, I got this. Oh, it's worth all the hours that you put into it, the sleep that maybe you didn't get being on